start for most teams. Again, you want at least 9 on your CT side. The pressure is on rather early on, so we'll have to see exactly how things transpire here. But a slow and measured approach for the pistol round. 9Z have a strategy in mind. NQZ gonna throw the Molotov towards the top of Hut, and Vinny, a nice unorthodox angle here towards top of the coolers. He'll find one, a nice shot to David. Bolt's now combining it as well to find Buda. A little bit more as these players are trying to funnel up and know they're caught in the choke points. A nice fadeaway shot from DGT, but can they get anything more? That's the question. They're still stuck behind those choke points, and that is the critical factor here. They can't get out. They can't get close with those clocks, which is really the winning recipe for them. So DGT has his work cut out for him as a result. He's gotten 2. It would be a 1 versus 4 ace clutch to win this pistol round. It just truly seems like an impossible situation.
He's got a low HP player in Bolts at second vent, so this is a winnable first engagement in what's now a 1-on-3. There is no real flank potential either. Fallen swings out wide on Tetris, and DGT just can't connect the shots. If he was able to take out Fallen, things would have been a lot more easy for him, but Bolts will nag the hat trick in the end, and Imperial will go up 1-0, no bomb plant. That is the key point to note as well. 9Z presumably will not force into round number 2, and instead go for the AKs, maybe a Galil for some extra utility into round number 3, but that A-pop kind of just fell as a dud on entry, and it just never really got off the ground. It was a good shutdown to kick things off, and if you can't get out of those choke points, as you said, with the Glocks, good luck, have fun, because Glock at range versus USP at range, I think everyone knows what they'd rather have.
Yep, up top of the silo, a very aggressive angle from Vinny there to put the cap on that bottleneck. Very well done to start things off with that kill on the pistol. But we're now in round number 2. No bomb plan, of course, necessitates a near full save. We have 1 P250 in the round. Fallen and Fur, though, are starting things off well at range. Again, the pistols really struggle here, unless they're deagles, of course. But none are present. Chelo, a third. This should be a rather clean round. The FAMAS spray at range for Fur does indeed connect. It's just the P250, the most dangerous weapon for the T side, but it's not serviceable at that range. Fur caps off the round. A clean and flawless second for Imperial, and this is the best start you could ask for on the CT side.
Great for the money. They can go for the full bonus here. Double FAMASs and M4, so still some firepower to counter the AKs. The MP9 on Bolts can play up close, either top hut or somewhere on ramp, maybe a boost up. And the Scout, of course, is there as well. We do have a pause, though. And it looks like it's a technical issue that's going on, because we would have seen a tac timeout timer up at the top if it was a tactical pause. So something's going wrong for one of these two teams. But for 9Z, of course, nobody can talk during a technical pause, so it's not like they can theorize, it's not like they can strategize right now. For 9Z, though, at least for the individuals, they can kind of just reset mentally, just let the last 2 rounds flow out behind them, and get ready for what is their first gun round, one that they have to win, and have to win relatively clean. 9Z need to keep 3 players alive here, because if they lose 4 or 5 players and still win the round, because it is possible on the T side, of course, to win the round while losing all 5, their next buy is going to be rather weak. Meanwhile, Imperial will have the op for Fallen, they'll have the M4s, all the utility, and they'll just be ready to roll going into round 4.
Yeah. As the best way to put it, 9Z as well still don't have the best of buys. They didn't get a bomb plant in either round 1 or round 2. That means they're sitting around 4,300, 4,500 in terms of cash in the bank. That's Kevlar and AK, a little bit of utility, not full utility, so this round could be a little bit more scrappy than you might expect, especially against maybe a close angle from Bolts on the MP9, an unorthodox angle from the FAMAS. All these compromised or less than ideal weapons for Imperial can actually turn into very unorthodox angles, and of course could catch out 1 or 2 players, and any damage, as you mentioned in this round, is good damage for Imperial.
And it's still a round they could reasonably win as well, with the Scout getting some tag damage. The FAMAS is still usually good for a kill, at least. A little bit of nade damage taken by Bolts and Vinny, though, so at least 9Z winning the unconfirmed damage duel in the beginning of the round. Max clearing around, will have to clear out Africa, does not spot anything in the cubby. Fallen will get smoked as well, smokes outside coming through, and Fur is lurking around the corner. Flash goes over, Max goes over top, and Fur is taking down. Good flashes coming in from NQZ as well. Did not mention he throws a lot of flashes for his squad, in fact throws the most flashes per round for the 9Z side as he is the opper. Vinny, though, gets flashed on through, but he cannot come up with anything. Max is holding the line, and now it's a double opening pick for 9Z to work their way around the map. David will stay up top and maybe even get a lurking frag on somebody trying to rotate around, but no. The rotations are going to go through the vent and through J-Hall down the ramp, It's a clean rotation from Imperial. However, 9Z don't have to commit to this yet. They don't have to go for B, but they are going to run on out, and Bolts is in behind. He's got the MP9. Chelo's picked up another. The bomb is down, and Max falls as well. What was a great start for 9Z has now turned into a dire strait. They only have 2, and yes, Chelo is low, but the damage has already been done, and this is an uphill battle from now for the T side.
And Bolts as well now has an AK in towards Decon as well. A far more dangerous player now. He spots the shoulder. He finds David. It's just the one DGT now in the 1v3. And things really began to unravel there. 9Z, they used all of their utility on the outside take. They had, I think, a smoke left in the 5v3, something like that. Maybe a flash as well. Next to no utility to work with. So they had to go for something slower, something as a core. And of course, they just walked right into the trap of Imperial. Very well timed rotation down the vents coming through from Bolts. That's what really seals the deal. That's the support Chelo needed in this round. And that gives Imperial the bonus by extension. 2 AKs recovered to complement that M4. And this is a heck of a start for Imperial here on Nuke.
Yeah, they get a better buy out of this one than they would have had otherwise, with the AKs coming through as well to bolster them. And not only do they win the round, but they knock 9Z down a serious peg. Double entries and then nothing to show for it. I think the thing that really hurt 9Z too was the fact they segmented themselves too much, and they allowed Imperial all the room to rotate down to B. It's a very obvious play, right? Smoke wall outside, nobody coming through mini, and nobody coming through to the hell rotation. It's pretty obvious to figure out where the team is going. So, 9Z, they got read like a book. You're not going to outread Fallen with a play like that. And they get punished for it. I think maybe a little bit of stalling action, not really forcing the issue down. Or if you are going to go B, you go full speed. You can't play the middle ground in that situation. That's what punished 9Z.
They were really hoping to beat that timing behind. They weren't watching for it, of course. And that's what really sealed the deal. Again, a perfectly timed flank from Bolts that goes unchecked. It's just pistols and that one hero AK now falling at the ramp is looking to harvest a bit of kills here. He's found one. Ooh. He's found a collateral, a little bit of flaring around like this. Buda does find some damage though. That's 2 kills now in favor of 9Z. Still a disadvantaged situation, a heavily disadvantaged situation. Just the AK of DGT 1v3, and he's out in the yard. He's kind of just stalling. He wants to save this AK for the following. Keep in mind, he survived last round. That gives him no money to work with. He has no money in the bank beyond that kill cash. So he has to try his darndest to survive. Otherwise, he will have maybe a MAC 10 in the following, which is far from ideal. So the question is, will Imperial hunt for this player?
Imperial do have some money, but in terms of Fallen and Fur, they don't really have a lot. It's not necessarily a gun they have to hunt out either. It would be a nice little boost, but it's more like you get a bonus cherry on a milkshake, right? It's nice to have, but it's not necessary. So I think Imperial will be satisfied with winning this next round, getting 4 on the board early, getting Fallen activated with the op back ramp too. That's going to be some fear instilled into the hearts of 9Z. They're really going to try and challenge that anytime soon after they just got demolished in the last round. Probably not going to be somewhere they're going to want to head. So, Imperial, they win that round in more ways than one. Yes, they will have the saved AK-9Z, but now what is the plan going to be from 9Z? Because I almost feel like it's timeout territory for them, as nothing they've tried has really worked out. Granted, they've only had guns really once, but still, the reads they've made just seem to be running into the choke points with no real way to force Imperial off of the angles.
I will say it does feel like it was I don't want to say lucky, more like perfectly timed timing that could be countered going forward that really sealed the deal on that first rifle run. They still have some time to work with. I'd say if they lose this rifle round with the op in hand for NQZ, this is where you call the timeout, following this rifle round. So not necessarily that would be round 6, but round 7, when you have the rifles once again, that would be your time. That's when you really begin to feel the pressure. So I can respect it. That's a good start as well. Buda dropping Fur in the outside yard. That's a nice kill in towards the garage. And 9Z, we've seen them have advantages. The question is, can they convert this one?
Well, they need to build a little more here. Don't panic. Don't force the issue. Just keep control. You have time to work with. Vinny's going to start probing now. And DGT is on the angle for this. He's holding, almost hoping that somebody gives him a free pick. But Imperial have the right timed molly from Chelo to stall out this push from 9Z. who are starting to burn down that clock a little bit here. Vinny, as he comes around the corner, needs this shot, but he will get dropped by DGT. Molotov to follow for him, and he will back out alive. In the meantime, the secret push has been revealed. It is a secret no longer, but 9Z can still rotate up to the A side. DGT outer yard, trying to catch rotations. Bolts walking back towards Hell as NQZ walks up secret. Nobody will cross into the crosshair of Bolts just yet. NQZ holding for a mini rotation, as a matter of fact. Chelo on top of the silo down on B, and the shot from Unbreakable will not connect. Bolts will strike, and that's the op gone. Fallen has David as the rotation comes up. Buda holds the line, but Fallen still here. The deagle for the 3K. It's all down to DGT. The timing goes the way of DGT. The bomb has to go down as well. He's just enough time to get that onto the ground and start that 40-second timer, but his health is a massive factor here, Nate. 22 HP. He's a one-shot to Chelo. He has one opportunity to win the round, and if he guesses wrong or misses the shot, it goes the way of Imperial again in a heartbreaking fashion for 9Z. Oh, Chelo's on the walk, he's on the scaff, and he's got the angle, but DGT sprays him down, grabs the op, and 9Z are going to get their first round on the board. It is the definition of a hero play from DGT.
He's been the last alive in a majority of the prior rounds, again saving that precious piece of cargo, the AK, and at long last he does pay off for the squad. Fallen doing his darndest to try to keep the team in it. A nice pair of kills there back towards the hut, but in the end it is not quite enough. It is 9Z on the board. Very well done from DGT. Low HP in the clutch. He is not phased whatsoever. Doesn't even rely on the op there. Might consider that like a Bogdan's Law kind of situation. That's not going to be the case. He is still confident in his abilities. Ops still present for both teams though. Fallen now rotating over towards the yard. NQZ, he's had a slow start here. A difficult shot towards Unbreakable in the round prior. We'll have to see if he can wake up here towards the top of Marshmallow.
You really do want to see NQZ get activated. Had 30 kills against 0-0 Nation on their Overpass matchup. Yeah, Overpass T-side hopping a lot easier than Nuke T-side hopping, but you still need your big green gun to get things done for you. That shot towards Unbreakable he should have had, but he'll have plenty of opportunities to rectify that mistake and moving forward here. Smoke's going down towards Squeaky yet again. And outer yard control for 9Z. As they've burned down a bit of clock here, they're going to work around it over the smoke. Fur's got himself the bomb and the opening kill of the round. Fallen will chime in as well. That op seems to be everywhere at once for Imperial. Imperial with the double opening picks will put themselves in a very good spot to finish off this round as 9Z are stuck. They are stalled out, spinning their wheels by Redbox. And unless somebody comes up with a massive entry, this one's going the way of Imperial yet again. And even just looking at the utility for 9Z, they don't have the ability to even retake the bomb. They agree. They're saving. 3 players are saving on T-side Nuke. Imperial have struck back.
Imperial completely shut down that kind of outside yard default that we've seen from 9Z time and time again. Very good adjustment. When the going gets tough, Imperial changed things up, a very dynamic CT side. This time, instead of just leaving Fur outside, they bring the op over and Fallen. They set up Fur over towards the secret entrance, just playing those choke points, playing with the smokes. Imperial looking incredibly comfortable here on the CT side of Nuke.
Yeah, I mean, they have, almost a 70% win rate on the CT side, so they're a very strong defense, yes, but I feel like some of these problems are also just 9Z's own doing. They waste a lot of utility in the early rounds to where they don't have any in the late rounds, and they've kind of done the same play over and over and over again as well. Outer yard control. First pistol round was an A-pop. Cool. Since then, everything has been outer yard control. Except, I guess round 2, the ramp rush, but... Or was that
kind of getting stale. Yeah, it's kind of getting stale. They don't really have big changes. They don't have an adjustment. They don't go towards the ramp to try and get a pick in the opening with the op. They don't try to nade open the squeaky door and get an op pick through there. They're kind of being stagnant. And it is getting read now by Imperial. We'll have to see if this timeout has indeed given them any new ideas. They will go for the investment, of course. 3/5 of the rifle saved. They'll get another AK, and they'll get a Mac 10 for Max. Less than ideal, but still more than serviceable in certain situations. And 9Z switching things up rather quickly. Buda already down over towards the trophy room. And some players showing presence over towards the squeaky door as well. This is the adjustment we want to see. We want to see a dynamic T side coming in from 9Z to keep Imperial guessing here.
Yeah, pretty classic default on Nuke here from 9Z. They nade open squeaky, they get some ramp control. And now you see Imperial starting to probe around, looking for something else, trying to make sure they have the right positions. 9Z have to be careful not to get lobby crunched. Dodged a bullet there. And now Imperial, off of this information, are just stationary. They're waiting. They're playing their defensive advantage, which is what they should be doing in response to this. I like this angle from chelo, making sure nobody comes down the vents. My initial thought with the MAC 10 was, hey, maybe you can go for a vent drop, but they're going to probably use it for the entry play on towards the A site. Most likely going to go through Squeaky, unless they want to leave Max just lurking around to get any rotations coming through lobby, because the MAC 10 on a tight angle is pretty good as well. Look how many smokes have been used to just stall out that push through Squeaky, though. It's 45 seconds, and there's been a smoke towards Squeaky every single second so far until now. Vinny's got one, but he burns alive, has to sacrifice himself. Fallen's holding the line next up, and the bomb goes down. Good trade from Max, but there's still two players here to hold. One in heaven, one on site, and down the vents is chelo, and he gets a gift from Max. NQZ goes down swinging, and Bolts kicks down Buda. It's a sixth on the board for Imperial as they continue to pile on the rounds, and 9Z just cannot get anything off the ground. It seems like everything they try gets shut down by utility, by team play, and coordination on Imperial.
It's just a complete read coming in from Imperial. They realized it was a standard default. They adjusted accordingly. chelo down in that vents is ready. He knows they're probably going to get out the choke point, but they're going to be funneled down the next one, and that was the vents, and he was ready with open arms. He caught one of those players for free. Very well done from Imperials. Again, they just look steps ahead of 9Z. Falling towards ramp now with the op is looking to shut down the pistols. He's found one. He has the support now. It looks like Imperial are going to get another convincing round victory as a result. And 9Z just stalled out, hoping for aggression. But again, Imperial, a veteran roster, they're not going to give away picks in a round like this.
No, they're not. They're not going to overextend. Fallen's also farming with the op. 11-2 right now, Nate. So he's having himself a moment. He had a very good performance as well in the earlier series. Fallen will shotgun off a second, make it a third on the round. chelo's coming from support, and there's the team play from Imperial. Fallen finds himself in a bit of trouble. chelo's right there, looking over his shoulder, keeps him alive. Another flawless victory for Imperial. That's going to be really good for their economy. As you can see, nobody quite at the quintuple digits yet, but they're still looking pretty. 7-1 now for Imperial, and 9Z will have a buy-up again, but there's two players on the South American mixed team that have not yet opened their accounts here, Nate. And that is a problem for 9Z.
Especially when it's somebody as important as your op or NQZ. It is a difficult map, but the op really needs to sing true here on a map like Nuke. Fallen now, again, nomadic in his style. Once again, outside towards the yard. We do see an inside man, though. Down in the vents goes DGT, and he's actually trifling with perhaps going back up. I don't think they realize it either. Never mind. Furs down below. Again, Imperial steps ahead of their adversaries. A nice free opening pick. A little bit of damage taken, actually a lot, excuse me, but still Furs able to get away, and Vinny, now that the smoke furthers it. Buda trying to find the pre-fire. He knew the player was there, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't win the duel. Vinny now all the way in, looks for a second, doesn't get it, but he does get lots of damage and, of course, information. Imperial looking to cap off an eighth now, and Fur rotating up around towards Secret. He's on low HP, doesn't matter. He wants information, and he's confident. He's going to press forward. He might catch one. No, he's going to fall back before he actually goes for the angle. Instead, it's going to be Fallen holding a very tight angle towards the outside yard. Max dropping down, looks for something, but misses the spray, and chelo from afar finds one, finds two, finds three. A very quick summation of the round for chelo, and Imperial, they're going to continue the trend. It's 8-1, 7 rounds ahead, and a fire-hot start here on Nuke.
They are flaming hot right now, but the thing is, remember what happened to 0-0 Nation when they had a 14-7 lead. The thing is, 9Z far from that marker right now with only 1 on the board, and Imperial 6 away from 14. So they are looking very good here on the CT side start. 9Z probably hoping for 6 out of this one. Now a realistic number probably closer to 5 or even 4. But that's not great. They're calling their second time out of the half right now to talk things over and see what they can do to work things out. But it also seems like the individuals just aren't clicking for 9Z either. Max should have had that kill on the Rafters player. That's one he needs to have every single time. NQZ still struggling to get into this game in general, which is a massive problem. He's their highest rated player overall on the roster and pretty much every aspect aside from ADR. So 9Z now going to try and force the issue. Go fast. Max Tech 9 up close. Vinny's just spaming blind at Tetris. He gets taken down. Bolts will burn or get put down by the Tech. It's Buda and the Tech 9 to win that duel. Opening picks in an advantage here, but not for long. The nade comes through to silence DGD. For coming in from Mini as a smoke around, but he's got the silenced M4. Chelo also on 8 HP in a vulnerable position, but the bomb is going down. It's a stressed plant here. And it's not exactly clean, but that's a huge win from NQZ. That'll be his first, and Buda struck for another. It's down to Chelo now with the op, and he might just be better served to save. Because a 1-on-3 with the op and 8 HP, not going to work out too well for you if you are Imperial. It looks like Chelo is going to toss his hat into the ring, though, as he still is content to hang around in heaven. David's on the flank. I guess maybe he's wary of it, just going to do what damage he can. Buda dodges that shot, and down goes Chelo off the ladder into the waiting arms of David. And there's 9Z's second off the back of the timeout and a fast A play with a pistol. The flashes over top, though, were what really got them the space in the end.
Yeah, it totally blinded that player over towards Tetris, gave them the opening they needed, and the Molotov towards backside as well just puts the extra pressure on the remaining player on the site. Very well done from 9Z to change up the pace. That's what we want to see to get them on the board here. Change the pace to catch Imperial lacking, and that is exactly what happened in this round. A convincing victory on a half-buy with pistols and armor. We'll have to see if that same sort of aggressiveness can come through in the rifle rounds, though. That's what's really going to get them a way back into it.
Volley towards Squeaky Door. Bolts holding first vent. Goes for a swing. David takes him out, but Max will trade. Good work there to get the 4-on-4 for 9Z. Trades do tend to favor the T side. Maybe a little more confidence coming through from the 9Z side as well. And David, as the in-game leader, can basically just call backseat game for the rest of the round. Not always a bad thing as the IGL to die first. It can really help you out, especially if you've been getting stuck in your own mind while you're still alive. Now a ramp rotation perhaps from 9Z, though. The smoke to block it off, and a little outer yard control in the form of fur towards red. But I like how Imperial have responded to this opening pick, getting fur forward, and now getting a little more control of the A site.
Trying to again get out of these bottlenecks. This is where Imperial can really shut down the round, but now they're going down the vents. It doesn't matter. Fallen a disgusting shot on a 1, and now the other ones are questioning their play. Buda will drop Vinny, sure, but Fallen's found a second in the meanwhile, and he's slowly slinking in now towards the hut to get more room. Fur finally strikes in the outside yard, catches that player lurking around, and so it's just one. It's Buda. He's found a kill, but he needs 3 more to win this round, and Fallen already knows where he is. Doesn't matter. Buda's quick on it. Maybe giving himself an opportunity here. Spots another Buda. A nice tap onto Fur, and he's made it possible. A 1 versus 3. The bomb is down, but Chelo is very far away from the situation. If Buda can read this, he can get the bomb, he can get the plant, and a very solid position here in the 1 versus 1. It's a big opportunity. The question is, will he be quick enough? It doesn't look like it. Chelo, bottom of the vents, is going to wait. He's going to see if Buda gets in his own head. If he goes down the vents, it will not be the case, though. Plant instead going down on the A site. Buda dances now delicately. Chelo, full HP versus the 60 of Buda. Going to slowly peek a right-handed angle. It isn't in his favor, but no, he can't connect the shots. Chelo at range with the A1S does reel things back in, and Imperial will continue to dominate. However, 9Z are beginning to show signs of life here.
They finally get a little life. It's young Buda, the Academy player promoted just a couple of weeks ago. Showing up now, almost clutches that one out, but close only counts at horseshoes and hand grenades, Nate. And that one, not going to be close enough for 9Z. The fact of the matter is, they're still down. They're down now 9-2. And the massive thorn on their side, someone who's been around the map everywhere at once, has been Fallen. 100%. He has been everywhere to shut down the pushes. Unless they can find a way to stop Genghis Khan, because that's kind of how Fallen is right now, just full-mounted cavalry running everywhere. They're not going to find a way to get many more rounds with this T side.
150 ADR and 16 kills by the start of round 12. That is a monstrous performance from Fallen, and he is set up camp now towards the credit card area, flashing around, just not overcommitting as of yet. Fur as well, he's been the complement here in the outside yard. He's down towards Secret once again. And Imperial, content with running their default. It has worked, although they do have one extra spanner in the works, as you can tell. Chelo is on the double op setup. He's towards the ramp. The op might feel nomadic, but no, it's actually a double op setup this time around for the side of Imperial. Chelo first at bat. Misses the opportunity, but we'll get a second crack. Got a nice shot. Fur in the meanwhile drops Max as well, and Fallen is now here to support his secondary opper. He's holding the cross. He's keeping these players at bay, and want to go for the peek in the flames. He'll miss the shot. Will he get away? Yes, he will with 10 HP, and Chelo will fill in the holes, finding the kill, once again dropping the bomb, and giving his team a massive opportunity. NQZ, beginning to wake up though, does find one in response, but they still have to disentrench the primary. They still have to disentrench Fallen, and even when he's blind, he's still hitting shots. It's disgusting. Just NQZ, the operative 9Z, in the 1v4. These players are tagged short, but he has the op, and he's not very so inclined to go for this round. Fur double taps him away, and Imperial 10 rounds already, and we still have more to go in this first half.
10 rounds in, or 10 rounds rather for Imperial, 12 rounds in, 13 and 14 and 15 to go. But here's the interesting thing about this last round. They had the double ops on Imperial, right? They had the opportunity to get another one for free, but they elect not to. The double op for Imperial was used as a gimmick round, Nate. It was used as just a gimme, a gotcha question. It worked. Chelo found his kill, it found its damage, and they don't want to go back to it. They don't want to risk the hardship that it brings on a retake. They want to go back in with a full-on rifle with the one op for Fallen. The damage being dealt is kind of hurting the economy for Imperial a little bit here, but overall, there has been nothing 9Z really been able to do besides almost a couple of one-off rounds. Because the pistol round surely was a one-off. The rifle round as well has not been able to be replicated yet. That have gotten 9Z anything good. And at this point, their best case scenario is a 10-5, which is not a good case scenario by any respect.
Yeah, they got a clutch and then a more convincing pistol round victory, but they have not been able to replicate that success, of course. EGT down the vents this time around with a little bit more success, not shut down outright. But again, 9Z called a timeout, probably to try to counter the double up setup. They're probably trying to play into that kind of setup because they know that's a big difference. That's how teams swap up their overall game plan. Imperial probably playing vastly differently with two ops as opposed to one, so they're going to try to probably play into that. But as you mentioned, they've already dropped it. They're not going for that gimmick once again. They just have fallen on that single big green, and so they're back to their tried and true standard. Imperial. Again, it's just Fur in the outside yard. Now Fallen's playing a far more passive angle, and he'll find the opening. It's Max down through the edge of the smoke, and it's just par for the course at this stage. Imperial looking incredibly good here on their CT side, and nothing will really change that. David, though, swinging by, flying through, finds one. Chelo will find the trade, though, so again, it's still Imperial that are favored in this one.
Vinny chimes in to make it even more favorable for the CT side. NQZ and DGT now last standing. Will work their way around. Fur still tucked in the corner. Should not be spotted by NQZ. And instead, it'll be Fur doing the spotting, dropping the bomb. And DGT, the man who went down the vents so long ago, is stuck there in secret. You could see the exasperation of the coach's face, too. In the back of that camera, man. It's got to be rough exactly as the coach, where you can't really do anything.
Called 3 timeouts at this point, right?
Yep.
Talk to your team as much as you can, and they still are struggling here. They had the inside man in this round, and they still couldn't find anything. They had that player down vents, which is such a critical factor. It could be such an important piece to the round, and it just yields nothing. He'll have to save the rifle. It's not even a victory. It's not even a hollow victory. It's still a defeat for all intents and purposes. 11-2, 2 rounds remaining in this half, and again, for a monster in the outside yard, complemented by Fallen from a more passive angle this time around. He'll get to really shine. Nice pair of kills there around that corner. 11-2, 13 is still a possibility. 9Z, they're going to hazard an investment as best they can. 2 Galils, 3 AKs, a decent bit of utility, not the full amount that you would hope for. But it could still be enough. The question is, do they have some sort of unique strategy now, or are they still going to run their head against the wall?
Max could get the drop, never mind. Fallen denies, bell rung, and Fallen is making the bell toll for 9Z. Fur will creep down the vents, a deeper smoke thrown into Squeaky to ward off any further pressure. Fallen holding a pixel angle here. We'll hold for more peaks. But 9Z, they've reinvested. They've already lost their first player, and that was Max, who could have done so much from top of mini, just shut down by the op. Might have gotten tunnel vision on the player inside. Fallen, looking for the next. We'll have the easy angle onto Buda. I mean, not easy in that sense, but easy for Fallen. Just Buda hangs out a little bit too long in that pixel, and I mean, Fallen really only had, what, 3 pixels of his arm to shoot at? So, good stuff from the veteran and game leader, the legend in the Counter-Strike scene. And 9Z are saving again. This is not the first time, not the second time. There's been a lot of T-sided saves from this squad.
Is this the? It's not the third time they've gone for a 3-person save.
Not the third time they've gone for a 3-person, but it's like the 4th or 5th time they've saved on T side.
They saved it quite a bit, a litany of times. But this is at least the second time they've had to save in a 3v5.
Yep.
Where they've just outright lost the opening duels. They've lost their utility and have to cut ties with the round. And there's still a lot of time left, right? They're at like 30, 40 seconds and they're calling it. That's how bad, that's how quickly they are being rebuked at these choke points. Imperial, they were definitely banking on this map being picked, I'd have to say. Overpass, a little bit more of a toss-up. They were kind of leaving it open in hopes that 9Z would get in their own heads and not pick it, and that's exactly what happened. And now Imperial are showing us why this is one of their best maps.
They look very solid on the defense, and with this kind of a start, they should have a smooth victory. Now, 9Z, they did show great mental fortitude against 0-0 Nation, but there are levels to these teams. Imperial is the bigger fish in that scenario. Imperial is the much stronger squad compared to 0-0 Nation. And for 9Z, yeah, you might have taken down one, but that was a 14-7. This one's going to be 13 rounds after the first half. Unless they're able to find a way to win this. Oh, DGT, he's revealed his own position, and he's able to get back to Squeaky alive. He's making a lot of noise. In the meantime, his teammates are going towards ramp, but there's a couple players here to defend. More utility being spammed. Actually, ramp room has been given up by Imperial for the time being. They're trusting that smoke to ward off 9Z. Maybe even funnel them back into A. But you mentioned 9Z getting in their own heads picking this map. It seems like not only are they in their own heads picking this map, but also in the decisions they're making in the mid-round.
They seem kind of scared because mid-round has just been so perfect for Imperial. Fallen again, lining them up, not getting the outright collateral, but still doing a tremendous amount of damage. These players are walking in shore, but he has support now. Chelo finds one, Fallen another. David does offer some resistance, but these players have a combined total of, what, 41, 47 HP, and now make that just 31 for DGT. Fallen taking down David. And DGT, he's been in so many of these 1vx situations. He did find the victory once in a 1v2, but I think this one in the final round of the half is too much to ask, especially with the bomb dropped as it is. It's a clean 13-2 half for Imperial as we enter the break. We'll see you shortly.
Well, if you blinked, Imperial ran away with that first half. A 13-2 scoreline to kick things off on the CT side of Nuke. I'm Boggs, joined by Pineapple Phillips, and folks, 9Z have to mount a comeback for the ages here in this best of one to try and take down Imperial as well. They had a good one, 14-7 earlier today, but this is another level, especially knowing that Imperial win over 80% of their pistol rounds on this map. And well, it's a bit of a default here from Imperial, looking for some aggression from 9Z, which is not truly fully come, but now here it is. Max creeping around, and he's got the first shot. Vinny will trade, but there's a start, at least something to kick things off in the kill department for 9Z.
Wise call from Imperial, hold for the pushes. Again, they know 9Z are truly desperate at this point, right? It's 2-13. Sure, they've come back from very disparate scorelines. Again, that 7-14 in the opening round versus 0-0 Nation. But this does feel like a truly impossible situation, especially if you're a younger 9Z player. David up close. You don't expect the USP to really shine here, but it does, at least with the novelty of the angle. Bolts does fall. That's the bomb drop as well. And NQZ finds another. Fallen out the doors, does find one, but it's chipped away to a paltry 6. It's him and Vinny in the 2v3, and Buda finds one. Fallen now with the Glock finds a single, but DGT finds the trade. And 9Z do unseat the pistol round kings and Imperial here on the second half, but they still have a very long way to go. That is the first of, 10 more rounds required to tie this up? It's a long road ahead.
Well, if they are going to tie, it starts with the pistol. So, the first step of the comeback has been accomplished. They do not let Imperial win the pistol. Fallen is forced into a scout here, Nate. That is the only major purchase for Imperial. They've also picked up 2 P250s, and Fallen's scout will take a shot, will not connect. Max has to be very careful now. He can get taken down very easily. His nade won't really do too much either. In his position exposed, he doesn't really have the help, but bolts will fall on top silo. He was being a bit of a pest with that P250, and now 9Z will just retreat, turtle up, and play their pistol. They play their gun advantages.
I don't care about the disparity in weapons there. That 3-tap from the MP9 at that range is unreal. An unreal little tap there, regardless of the advantage that 9Z have. Well done for Max, though, to get away down towards Secret. Now Imperial truly have their work cut out for them. They have a P250. They have a scout. They have a lot to do. The scout nearly hits the flick, but no, it's the M4 at range to get the one-shot headshot. No head armor makes this difficult. Max now harvesting the cash, and 9Z beginning to wake up here, but keep in mind this is just pistols. Vinny, a parting gift. He does drop Max at long last, that player out in the yard, but he's being punched in upon NQZ. Final nail in the coffin there. A near flawless round for 9Z, but they do lose one in the end, 4-13.
Well, having the additional rifle will actually help 9Z out considerably here, because you see the buy from Imperial. It's AKs with the Galil, Fallen sacrificing for the extra utility. And 9Z, if they only had 2 M4s and 3 MP9s, it would be a lot less winnable on the bonus round than it would be now. Of course, you would like the extra money, but at this point, if you're 9Z, you can't lose a round. So you need to get probably to 7 or 8 before you even let Imperial get to 14. It's just stacking every round on top of each other, 1 round at a time here for 9Z. Imperial have used a decent amount of utility, and Vinny just gets chunked down to almost nothing. The spray will not connect. He's behind a wall, so he is fine. There's a lot of damage to be taken for Vinny in the early going, and 9Z winning the unconfirmed damage very early on. That gives them something to work with here. But again, folks, it's a long way back in, but they've done it before already today. That is the hope we have in 9Z right now. That is why we have hope for them in this situation, because they did it once. Theoretically, they can do it again.
And they did it against Legends, very much like the Legends they're playing now. Don't count them out. We said that at the start of the stream. And again, I wanted to see a dynamic T-sided from 9Z. We didn't really get that. But we are seeing a more dynamic CT side, and that does give me a lot of hope and a lot of promise to 9Z. We'll have to see exactly how that transfers, though. We're entering the mid-round now, 40 seconds left, and Imperial, they are getting some slow gains out towards the yard. Fur and Chelo both lurking around. Chelo down now towards Secret. There's still no actual contact proper taken, right? It looks like Imperial are trying to starve 9Z of information. It won't work in the early round, though. NQZ now at long last does find the opening. Chelo taken down, and Imperial, where do they go now? That's the question. It looks like they're beginning to rotate around over towards A. They're trying to probe their way out of the door. Fallen taking point with the AK. But The MP9 up close, catches the player without a helmet, finds two in a collapse, a complete collapse. David from back old vents, he finds the final two on the M4A4, and it is a resounding shutout from 9Z as they just completely sweep Imperial under the rug.
And here's the best thing about that round, Nate. It's a flawless bonus round victory for 9Z. The MP9's doing immense work. I don't know how Buda gets that second towards Mini. That's a kill that needs to be gotten by the AK. But either way, 9Z do not lose a single player in that round, and that sets them up so well moving forward here. Again, they can't really afford to lose the rounds, but it does make their reinvestments easier. They haven't even gotten the opt out for NQZ, but now it's a fast 8 pop. David has gone down early, but Buda has tried to hold the line. He's gotten at least one. Now the rotation is down towards B. It's a bit of a fake. It's a double play, and the bomb is going to be planted down on the lower site with Fallen sitting in towards ramp. NQZ aware of the possibility. The bomb is going to begin ticking away momentarily. Fallen still that snake in the grass, that critical linchpin on the hold now for Imperial, but Bolts has gone down first. Chelo swings into the ramp, and he is dropped. Fallen now with pretty much it all to do. Fur coming down the vents as well. Fallen does get one, but only one, leaving it down to Fur coming to decontamination. This is where the flawless really helps out. The defuse will not come through. Fur's got a chance with the tech, but he's only got one. The defuse should have enough time. Indeed it will. But the damage taken now by 9Z just about negates everything good they had about that bonus.
Yeah, it does shake a bit of the confidence as well. Imperial are finally out to play. They were going a bit slow. They were trying to starve 9Z of information in hopes that they probed for said information. Of course, they didn't, though. 9Z held their nerve, and that's what really gave them that flawless bonus, as we talked about before. Now, Imperial, they're playing their own game. That exact kind of play, the aggression out A with the pistols, is what netted 9Z their second round, and that didn't come to like round 10. Imperial skipping all the rounds in between and just going straight towards it in hopes of catching off 9Z. It doesn't work out in this case, but still, it most certainly does a lot of damage and potentially shakes the confidence. Here we go. Something unique. Little boost over the vents here for NQZ on the op. This could be something. Vinny's trifling with the angle, but he's on the other side of the wall. He might get spotted, though. NQZ spots it, gets the kill. Very well done. And 9Z looking hot here on their CT side. Now Buda second from above. Very well done. A tight angle on the phone, and he spots the third as well while getting away. And this is a new team. 9Z looking absolutely phenomenal. It is another near complete shutout, leaving just Chelo in the 1v5. He might find a kill or two, sure, but he is stuck in the back corner, truly Alamoing it out, trying to do anything. No, nothing will go his way. David caps it off. That is the second flawless now for 9Z.
And they come against the guns, ironically enough. Their two flawlesses have been against the full buys of Imperial. 9Z know how to make it difficult for themselves, don't they? But you see that little boost. That's the same kind of stuff that was working for them on that overpass CT side against 0-0 Nation. It's the same kind of style of CT side. Little cheeky pick here, then aggressive play here. But you notice it never overextend on the fights. And that is what makes it work. A lot of times teams will fall into the trap of snowballing forward with those opening little picks. But all right, we got one, we can do more. But 9Z know how to pump the brakes. They know when to slow it down. Imperial have called their first timeout of this map, and understandably so, no reason to call when you have a 13-2 half, right? But now things are getting a little more scary. There's only 6 rounds between these two teams, and it's Tech 9s and a Mac 10, a CZ as well for Chelo. Good amount of utility, though, for Imperial. So this round actually could have some legs to stand on, especially if they pick up a rifle. Looks like a lobby crunch, maybe an A play here from Imperial, though. David's in a dangerous spot. He gets out behind the smoke. He's played one for, and he's only going to get one. This opens up the round, but DGT, trying to stabilize things from Mini, has almost gotten himself a second.
Lots of damage done. He's still kicking as well. That's the most important factor here. He now has support rolling in from heaven as well. The op of NQZ, though, is going to have a very difficult time approaching this site without support. He has to make sure he approaches in a timely manner. Plant will go down backside at long last. That was the main goal for Imperial in this round with the pistols and that Mac 10. Now the main goal is damage. Fur finds one. Now it's doable. 3 versus 2. They're still kind of stuck in the site, though. It's still a very dicey post-plant situation. NQZ is going to walk forward. He gets one, not the second. Fur, a nice flick to find the trade, and that leaves DGT again in the clutch. This time on the CT side. They'll spot one, but it's the Tech 9 of phone to take him down, and Imperial do it long last, put the pieces together. The timeout for the pistol round does pay dividends as they inch ever closer to a victory here versus 9Z.
But look at the score, Nate. It's 14-7. And what do 9Z know about 14-7s?
I didn't even realize that. You're right. That is the exact scoreline. Oh my.
There's some serious parity here.
There's some serious parity here. I was like, the score, what do you mean? It's penultimate map point, I get it. But you're right, it is 7-14. This is exactly what happened on Overpass versus 0-0 Nation.
They brought it back to a winnable scoreline. For them, anyway. Now, most teams you wouldn't expect to come back from a 14-7. 9Z have already proven they can do that at this stage. So, Imperial, they've already taken that first damage. Fer gets taken down to 4 HP, tagged by NQZ outer yard, who's starting to really come alive here. Bolts will walk in, that's the AK just showing it's better. But DGT on the chairs and vending machine will take a couple and not even get the third, but he's done so much onto Vinny. There's 126 combined HP throughout the 3 remaining Imperial players, and NQZ taking initiative, flashing himself into ramp room, is looking for more here. Buda just going to chill out second vents and let Imperial play. NQZ has to be careful, though, not to get caught out. This could be hard. He doesn't clear his corner, but he hits the shot anyway. That's the bomb. And yes, Vinny, I agree. That is a kill you have to have.
I don't know what the reses they play on that. We barely saw the foot there from NQZ's perspective. And what a flick that was. Everybody from 9Z is coming alive here. Looking at the score, I had to highlight it right now while we have a moment. NQZ, David, Max, 11, 10, and 10. Given at one point we were highlighting they were like 0 and 7, 2 of these players, that is a remarkable return to form. And if everybody's picking up the slack, then 9Z really do have some legs to stand on here. Chelo and Fer, Op and AK. Fer as well on 4 HP. It's impossible. 12 seconds left. They're going to save these weapons, or hopefully save these weapons. And 9Z, they start the comeback. This is 1 of 8. Again, remember, it was 8 in a row to get to overtime versus the likes of 0-0 Nation. And theoretically, that's exactly what they're aiming for. Ideally, 9 in a row, and just closing it out 16-14 is what they're aiming for. But let's be realistic. 8-0, or 8 rounds in a row, doable. 9 in a row, maybe a little bit much.
Yeah, 8 in a row is a lot more doable than 9. Even 8 in a row is still a pretty tall ask. But 9Z have put themselves in the right spot. They don't let Imperial string any rounds together. They don't let Imperial get to match point. They keep it at 14, and that is exactly where 9Z feel comfortable. Vaughn going to run towards ramp with the op in hand. That smoke actually leaves a gap, too, for 9Z, so Imperial can exploit that. Max outer yard. It's a double up outer yard, actually. And DGT has to be careful. He'll spot utility. He'll just fall away. Gets taken down by Vinny. And that is the ramp room open. The B side vulnerable. One player is there. It is David. For outside, though. Takes down Max, getting a little too aggressive. David, if he can stop this, he can win the round. He's got the first, and he stopped the bomb plant for now. Opens the double door, and it is smoke. Chelo sprays through, and Chelo's been chunked. The nade, will it work? Yes, it will! No bomb plant, 3v3. David, he's doing enough, and Buda has come through to support. 3v2 in favor of 9Z. The bomb's still down, and Fallen is as well. Fer in a 1-on-3, but Buda and David are clawing 9Z back into the round. And holy moly, don't call it a comeback yet, folks, but this one has turned from a 13-2 to a 5-round deficit.
You know what they say about the young guns? They like to sleep in, and they're finally waking up, at least in my time. It's 9:50 a.m. for me. It's definitely very late for them, but for my sake, it does work out in this situation. 1v3 for Fer. 15 kills for him thus far in the game, but I think 1v3, including the bomb, is just a near impossible situation. 25 seconds left. He'll try to find maybe a cheeky angle, but Buda has recovered the op, and he's already holding this angle. It's just not possible. In fact, Buda might even creep up. He might want to get this kill. He's going to clear it. He's going to get it. He'll grab a rifle as well. They don't want to trifle with the double op setup. They're going to go for the classic rifles, and they have begun this comeback. And let me tell you, everybody from 9Z is waking up. Remarkable from Buda. Remarkable from David. Look at this. The first shot there. The tag onto the player, crossing with the bomb, and the nade to follow up. Kobe to drop that player. Remarkable stuff. Everybody's answering the call to duty here from 9Z, and this is what really makes this matchup exciting now. What was it? 2-13 and a half?
Yep, 13-2
and now we're here?
Imperial.
My word.
That play by David, too, to work around that smoke double, following it up with a nade, That is one of the best heads-up plays I've seen in a long time. That was great. Max is in trouble, though, as David has gone down first, and there, Max gets backstabbed. It's another 5-on-3, but NQZ brings it back, and Buda up on top of Hut. He has been a blessing for 9Z here, has brought it to a level 3-on-3 as well. Vinny tagged down to 3 HP, still hunting around it. NQZ is going down the vent. The smoke will guise off the vision and let him disappear down, but Fur is waiting. It does not matter. Buda's picked off Vinny, and NQZ now meets Fallen. There's a 1-on-2 opportunities. The bomb ticks down for Fallen, much more winnable now than a 1-on-3. DGT with a Molotov, though, can flush Fallen out of position back silo. Gets spotted out, and DGT wins it. Op to be recovered for 9Z. And they have brought it to within 4 rounds. Danger time. Red alert for Imperial. We have another comeback watch here, folks, as 9Z are trying to do it again from down 13-2 to 14-7. And they're looking for a 2-0 start to the road to Rio Americas.
I think realistically, they just want to get in these situations now. They just want to get down 7-14 and come back. They want to prove themselves here in the IEM Road to Rio Americas before the even challenger stage at this point, right? They want to prove that they have what it takes, that they are a mature team ready to go toe-to-toe with the best. They're proving it against the best of their region right now, and looking to prove it on the world stage by extension. Smoke outside now for Imperial. They do have a rifle buys across the board. That loss bonus combined with the bomb plant does facilitate that. NQZ does lurking in the outside yard with the op, and Max is rotating around. He's already through. It's a lobby crunch of sorts, but without giving away the information. They have so much control, 9Z. They know exactly what should be happening right now, and this does bode well for the round going forward.
But what if Vinny gets a couple here? He's lurking on top outside. And that's Buda, who's been so strong for 9Z. But DGT, he's got a lineup for 2, but he only is able to get 1. It's a 2-on-4 now. Imperial have to win this round. They cannot lose it. And Vinny, he's going to get the lurker outside. He's going to do his job to a T. And NQZ will be forced to save. Imperial will grab match point before 9Z can. And this is what Oplana were unable to, or sorry, excuse me, 00 Nation were unable to do. They were unable to get themselves to that match point. Oh, NQZ's just got scoped. He can't see it. Fallen's got to get this kill. He will, and that's an op for him as well. And that will be... Oh, he's not going to get the op. He's going to stay on the rifle. And I like that adjustment from Fallen.
I do too. A tunnel vision there really what did NQZ in. And I really do like that adjustment, as you mentioned. No op for him. Keep it more mobile. Keep it more... adaptable, I think is the term you'd use. The op is a very fickle weapon in certain situations. The AK is just a workhorse all around. It can serve it no matter where you are. Match point now secured for Imperial. And I think the real thing that gives them this advantage you mentioned versus 00 Nation, it was 8 rounds in a row, and 00 Nation having to fight for overtime. Imperial, they make adjustments more quickly, more rapidly. They make better reads, and as a result, they now have the match point and a 5-round lead.
But the opening pick goes the way of 9Z. That was a bit of a gimmicky run boost there for Fur to try and get aggressive positioning outside. The shadow shows, and Max was waiting for it. The dynamic CT side from 9Z giving them an advantage here. But they have to hold the line. They need 5 in a row to take this one to overtime. It is still incredibly difficult. But they're taking it 1 round at a time, 1 step at a time, and their confidence is building. That's one thing we've seen, especially on young Buda. He's only been playing on this team for 21 days, folks. 3 weeks to the day, he has been on the 9Z main roster. He's top of the scoreboard against legends.
Incredibly well for himself. It's not like he's being necessarily enabled compared to his teammates. They're just playing together, and he is getting those multi-frags. He's playing remarkably well up top Hut and now towards Mustang. Max, though, is the one to shine in this round, finding 2 for the price of 1. Buda, now it's his turn to chime in. He'll find 1. Fallen gets a trade, but he's on 1 HP. 1v3, not feasible. DGT flanking in the ramp. Perfectly timed with a swing. Catches the player flying off the ladder. And while it is still match point, it is slowly becoming a closer and closer game. Now 4 rounds separating these two teams. 11-15. 9Z, it's still doable. It's going to be difficult, but it's still doable.
It is still doable, and it gets more doable with every single round they put on the board. Yeah, Imperial have max loss, so that does help them out quite a bit. But at least for 9Z, they don't have to worry about dealing with a reset, because they can't afford to lose a round. So there is that sort of relief, if you want to call it that. Rifles abounding for Imperial. Fur eats another nade, but Buda gets the opening pick. Max could get caught out. I believe he did spot something outside, though. I think he knows Fur is towards red. but he has retreated into mini in the meanwhile. The nade will go forward, but Imperial are being funneled in towards ramp. DGT is there, and there is NQZ towards J-Hall with the op as well. The nade, it'll do a ton of damage on the Cello and Bolts. That's a good one, but they're giving up this ramp control now. But they'll go back for it, playing a bit of a different angle. Bait and switch, DGT with one. NQZ's trying to do the damage, but he cannot really land those shots. He's missing his opportunities, but DGT is still tucked in the corner. NQZ taking all this damage, but Fur lurking outer yard can do something, as DGT has pretty much won this round, at least the ramp fight. Fur has spotted one out, and there goes Max. He was such a hero in the last round. He can only do nothing. He can do no more in this one. And Fur, this outer yard lurk, Nate. This is where this round could turn on its head and back to the favor of Imperial.
Good, but it is being watched for with a player top hut. That's Buda, if I'm not mistaken, holding the heaven wrap. And Fur's already low on HP. This should be a victory for him in this off angle towards the top of the door. David as well finds the timing now, drops Fallen. 1/2 of this lobby crunch, and Buda, there we go, chimes in, dropping Fur. Just bolts 50 HP, and around the smoke, there's nothing he can do. He's caught by that final player, and it is a collapse there. Very well done from 9Z to maintain their composure, adjusting as needed, covering all their bases and all their angles. Very well done from them. Now within 3, 12-15.
Buda had 1 HP after winning that heaven fight. 1.
Slim margins. Might be an understatement.
And look what Fallen's gone for a buy here. To get the utility they need, because they don't really have much. He's gone for a Tech 9. You almost have to wonder, though, if Imperial at this point wouldn't have been better served going for a half buy, because they are just not able to really get anything going. Oh, through the smoke, David is on top of Hut now. It's not Buda. The utility doing so much. Buda's up towards Mustang, and he's already taken down 1. Max is hanging around second vents. He's stuck in no man's land now, but Buda goes another before he's dropped. Cello's trying to boost over first vents. It's a 3-on-2 in the favor of 9Z. Now they've made noise. Cello spammed down by Max. Great way to trace the tracers back. Return to sender here, but Bolt is going to get the bomb down on B. He's made a lot of noise. They have to know it's here. They are going to go as a unit, which should help the retake proposition. But there's no mollies. There's no nades to flush him out. Bolt is in a winnable spot here with the double door is open. Spots the gun of Max. Sprays away. That's his position revealed. In comes the spray. And he does get one more, but David trades. 9Z too shy of overtime.
What a reason 9Z as well. They stacked A. They put 4 there because they knew. What did Imperial do when the going got tough to get that 15?
A-pop.
They went aggressive into A, and that is exactly what they did. They got 1 and then a second pick, like trades, and they said, okay, that's the A side open. These players are going to be stuck in heaven, stuck towards mini, out of the sight. But no, it was a complete stack towards A. 4 players already up in the rafters on top of Hut or back old vents. It was a resounding shutout as a result. Very well done from 9Z. Imperial, they did make it costly in the end, but still a very, very solid hold and solid read coming in from the CT side of the Young Guns.
Buda holding around first Vince now, lets him out, runs into 1, sprays him down, takes a lot of damage. The nade will close him off in the round, but Max now holding the line on B has picked up 2. He's actually sitting in the vents. He's got the bomb at his feet. DGT mauling off ramp as Fur and Fallen. 2 longtime teammates. Ooh. Now just 1 left at his Fur. He has picked up 1. Be a 1-on-4, but he does not have the objective, and that is objectively a massive issue. So it's down to him. And they're not really fighting 9Z. They don't need to. They got all the control they need. They have all the advantages. Max with another hero play. NQZ with the shot he needed. And Buda as well chiming in. Buda's been phenomenal. I don't think we can sing his praises enough right now. And the fact that 9Z are able to play so many different people in so many different positions, it's a really big boost to their CT side. Buda, he's playing top hut. He's playing Mustang. He's playing first vent. Hold up. First just brought it to a 2-on-1. He's going to flash his way down the vents, drop on through, he's brought it to a 1-on-1, but DGT will not lose. He will keep his team alive and bring it to round 30. We are going the distance. A timeout used by Imperial, but look at the money, Nate. This is bad money management from Imperial that can definitely cost them coming into round 30. Overtime is looking more and more likely.
Oh my word. 9Z, if they can pull this off, I don't want to Caster's curse it. I do not want to Caster's curse it. I do not want to curse the back-to-back 7-14 comebacks. But oh my word, this is unreal. As you mentioned, the economy, bad way might be an understatement. for Imperial, and they're going to have to manage their utility. Now, this is one thing we didn't see too much from 9Z on their T side. We didn't see the compromise in weapons in favor of utility. As we mentioned, their utility ran out quite a bit, especially when they went towards the outside yard. I like to see this from Imperial, but it does make this round all the more difficult. We have a Mac 10, we have an AK, we have 2 Galils, and we have a Tech 9. Good utility, though. So if they can do something unique with the utility, make the engagements more favorable for their T-side onslaught, then maybe things will be different. But NQZ just tagging through the blue box on towards chelo. That is the best start you could ask for 9Z.
Yeah, NQC's been really good at doing that damage through the outer boxes. He's been good at doing some of those little tags, wounding the Imperial players before they really get into the round. And it's been really helpful for the later portions of the round when 9Z have easier kills, but it looks like they're going to go for an ace set here, Nate. They have 2 smokes, 2 Molotovs, 4 flashes. They will be used for everything looks to be shaping up for this A play. 2 Galils, the Mac 10, the Tech, and the AK. Buda is top hut with an MP9. He does not have a smoke, so if it is mollied, he will have to take a different angle. But he has been so good from this position with so many different weapons, the MP9 will not be a weakness in his hands. The take is being prepped for. The smoke goes down. The spam for David finds nothing because everyone's still sitting in lobby. Is Imperial trying to bait out aggression from 9Z right now?
Seems like they're hoping 9Z get antsy, but again, 9Z thrive in these situations. They just did it in round number 1. They are veteran enough to realize what's going on, and now Imperial realize they have to kind of go for it, but the Molotov is perfectly thrown to stymie the hut press. David goes 1 for 1.
What?
chelo trades, but the MP9 again goes unchecked for Buda. He finds one and he dances around looking for a second, doesn't quite get it, but NQC in the meanwhile chimes in. Fallen and Bolts though want to hold it down. 3 between them leaves just DGT, the ramp player in the 1v2. He has a Galil and an M4 to unseat now and a bomb to defuse on top of that. The question is, will the timing be in his favor? He's walking forward. He's not looking towards the back of the silos, but it looks like he's gotten by. Oh, this is so dicey. Times everything. He finds the first, the second now. He knows he's not on the site. Perfectly thrown Molotov towards Fallen, and that might just do it. Fallen has no choice. He has to rely on the fact that the bomb is being faked, and DGT catches the player running through the flames. They've done it. 9Z in round 1 of this game. They've done it, and now we'll see if they can go across the line here in overtime on round number 2. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the IEM Road to Rio Americas. We have a barn burner. I'm Pineapple Phillips, joined by Boggs. And Boggs, we just witnessed 9Z's second 7-14 comeback out of 2 games played here in this one.
Well, there's only one problem, Nate. Job's not done. They have to win the map to fully call it a comeback. Yeah, they got to overtime, but there still is one more thing left to do, and NQZ gets tagged by the Op of Fallen. He has not purchased that up, and it looks like it's MR3 10K as well for the overtime scenarios. So money is going to be a massive factor for the CT side if they lose players. The nade doesn't do as much as NQZ took to kick this one off. And 9Z, they need 2, if not 3 rounds out of this CT side, because both teams have won a combined 4 rounds on the T side so far this map, which means they've won 2 each. The odds are you are not winning T-sided rounds, so you need to win every CT round you can in this overtime, and 9Z get the blessing of starting on the defense.
To get that home field advantage, the issue is Imperial, different set play. They're wrapping on the outside yard. NQZ is wise to this because he's on low HP, as he mentioned. This angle is the best he could ask for, but keep in mind he is stuck in the back corner. And these players are indeed just dancing around it. They don't want to deal with it. NQZ spots them, though. Doesn't get the kill, but he does get the spot, and Max is there. He finds one, and he knows it's the second lurking as well. He knows it's the Op of Fallen as well, if I'm not mistaken. Vinny, though, is going to split in. DGT is here, though. Max finds that. Fallen finds the trade, but DGT totally unexpected. He finds the trade back and maintains the advantage. 4 versus 2. Bolts and Chelo funneled in towards the B site now, and David's already lurking in towards decontamination. A blindside on the Bolts before he even starts planting, no less. And that just leaves Chelo. David, he is confident. He's not even going to wait. He's going to try to catch a timing, and he finds it flawlessly on those 2. 9Z starting things off well, 16-15 in overtime.
Really good poise from 9Z. NQZ initially just falling back more and more, not letting himself get taken down for free. The double up and ramp room works out so well. They have the hell control. They have DGT boosted up on the boxes. David playing around the single door like a champion. And 9Z up now with their first lead of the day against Imperial. It only took them 31 rounds to get a lead, Nate.
Only took them 31 rounds. Again, I'm so happy we said never count this team out because they are paying off in a big way right now. NQZ with the up chimes in. Max a second, tagging a third a little bit as well. Everything is going the way of 9Z. They have been activated in the later stages of this one. 5 versus 3, 5 versus 2. Max chimes in with one on the Chelo. It's just the Op of Fallen and Bolts on the AK. 2 old dogs, 2 big heavy hitters in the right situation. Fallen at 33, but no, he's unseated. Max finds that. Max finds the final 4 kills for him in the round. He's waking up. He's catching up to Buda, as is DGT. Everybody is waking up for this 9Z squad, and you love to see that. 16 for NQZ, sure, a little bit quiet, but incredibly impactful on the op. David as well, incredibly impactful on the rifle at 18, and then 22, 22, and 25, if I'm not mistaken, for the other 3 players. Again, it's very difficult to go against a team when everybody is hitting their shots, when there's no weak link to exploit.
Especially on that CT side, right? Wherever you turn, you're hitting a brick wall. And third timeout used for Imperial. Something to note, 9Z still have one hanging in their back pocket if they need to use it in the next half. So they're still set for another timeout. Imperial, this is almost a must-win round now. And Fallen is on a Tech 9 as well as Fur. They have 2 pistols, 3 AKs going into the last round of overtime, half number 1. This is a dire buy and a dire straight. They have 5 nades. A nade stack is possible for Imperial. They're going to chuck a bunch in towards Mini, and it will do absolutely zilch, zero, nada. The A play looks likely for Imperial, at least their early setup does appear to be that way. DGT is looking for the utility to fly on through. He will now back away, clear his hell a little bit, and just wait for Imperial to make a play. But 9Z have now seen the whole Imperial playbook at this point. They know what Imperial have in store. The smoke wall outside will telegraph this play. It's the deeper wall. No, it's the shallow wall. So there's an opportunity. Max could maybe even get on behind him and try and do something cheeky. The Molotov into garage. He spotted out 1, but this is a wise play from him. He's not going to force the issue here. He's just going to sit and spam and do what chip damage he can and just deny the outer yard control pensively while letting his teammates retake and rotate down to the B site where Imperial are telegraphing this hit is going to go.
I've never seen a T-side economy punished by an overtime, but here we are. It's time for first, I'd say.
No plants. And
yeah,
basically no kills.
Exactly. Well, he does them in. NQZ, a difficult spot with the op, but he has awoken. This could most certainly work out. Imperial just slowly taking control now down below. There's a fast rotation if needed towards the right, but Max is behind them. You mentioned this earlier, and this is perfectly timed. He spots one.
Gosh.
He's going to spot a second.
He saw the bomb.
So much information. One kill. Might not know the players in the vents, but it doesn't matter. He has so much control here. Vinny will find one on the AK on the NQZ. The op is taken down, but what a shot from Max. Not the second. Ferg gets the trade with the Tech 9. A bit of chaos, but Buda's now down towards Decon, as is his teammate David. They're going to spam. No such luck, though. Chelo on 46 HP is just behind the silo. He'll find one, but it's a trade from Buda. 2v2, excuse me. So there's a player towards the double doors and a player in the back calls. Fur runs forward in hopes of spamming him down. Does some damage, but doesn't get the kill. He's just trying to deny the defuse. Buda now spamming. It's his turn, and he will not miss. It's now Fallen, the IGL, 1v2. And he has to do it all. He swings in, finds the first. The second is tagged as well. He's just going to rely on the fact that he's not sticking. Time is becoming a factor, and Fallen will make his move. It is being stuck. Fallen gets the timing, though. He will secure a round for Imperial. And that is where we stand, 17-16, as we now wait for the second half to begin.
That's a critical T round, though, for Imperial. That means 9Z have to win a T-sided round to guarantee overtime, too. So, there is a little more pressure now on the young guns of 9Z.
Lots of pressure.
And they have to do something with this game and win it to earn a moniker that I think would be something very impressive. I'm holding that one until if and when they do win this. It's a big if. It's a tall task. And they have to find a way to deal with Fallen, because his op on CT's side was indomitable, Nate. It was the reason why Imperial won 13 rounds.
It wasn't. Fur played this off angle multiple times. Will it be punished? Not this time. There's a gap once again. It catches out Max. A good start with the Molotov, though, is an appropriate response, I'd say. Gives them some room to cross. Buda has been awoken, as we mentioned before. Given a lot of control now, but Imperial should know that's a possibility. Keep in mind as well, we're going to keep on drawing comparisons to that last matchup versus 0-0 Nation for 9Z. That game ended 19-16. So if 9Z can sweep these last two rounds, it'll be identical scorelines for them in their first two opening games.
Again, though, 0-0 Nation, they're good. They're no Imperial. And the T side for 9Z was a little better on Overpass than it has shown to be here on Nuke. But they do have Buda down below. He can definitely do some damage. They're throwing a lot of utility towards A, though. It's being countered. But if Buda can catch up for... Wait, I don't think there's anybody on the B side proper. If Buda realizes this, they can run it down, but they have to go through ramp. That's the only problem. 9Z, they have the player down lower, but they don't have anything else. Vinny is burning. He swings out wide, but down the vents, the bomb is gone. And they can get the bomb down here, but it's going to be a 2-on-4 hold. Not very easy at all. And the bomb still has to be planted. 20 seconds on the clock. No Molotovs, only flashes for Imperial. And oh, Buda, he's gotten dropped towards stairs. It's all down to David now on a 1-on-3. He swings out to double door. He knows there's somebody around the corner, and he's finished off Ferb at the time. It's not there. He cannot plant. He does not have time. He will fall momentarily here, and Imperial will tie it up at 17. Bolt's almost taken down. But 9Z, they fail at the first try. Now Imperial have a chance for another map and match point here. Timeout called by 9Z. They need one round to get to OT2. That is it. 2 would finish this one off, and they would be able to take both 0-0 Nation and Imperial down in day 1 of the road to Rio.
Would be a heck of a performance from them. They saved this tactical timeout for exactly a moment like this, when they need it the most. They knew, you know what, they knew they were going to come for the comeback. I'm just going to say it. They knew it. At CT side, there was no real cause for scare. Sure, their backs were against the wall. It was always a touch-and-go, tenuous kind of situation, just given the scoreline, but truly, it was indeed a comprehensive performance from them. There was no need for that timeout. They had quick adjustments at the ready when required. Looking at this one now, not so much on this T side of overtime, 17-17. If a team sweeps these last two rounds in their favor, they will win it. If they split the rounds, as you mentioned, we will go to another bout of overtime. So pressure is on, and the tension is palpable.
Shot from Fallen won't do anything, but DGT will eat a little bit of molly damage. Max will cross through, take a little bit of leg shots, but he can still be an adventurer, even though he took an arrow to the knee. DGT will put a bullet through the head of Fur. And there's the opening pick for 9Z, something they did not have the last round. They are now battling from an advantageous position. They can get down onto the B site and get that bomb down. Chelo has come through to try and stop the plant, but it will not be prevented Max on the ramp. That's a nice headshot angle. 9Z the timeout, paying dividends, but can it mature fully and turn into a round? Nades harassing Bolts, taking him down to 66 HP. More utility being thrown to the right side door. All three Imperial players might even just be saving here. It is MR3 10K, and 5-man hold on the B side is very difficult to retake. So Imperial are going to be waving the white flag. It is a tactical retreat, though, not an overall unconditional surrender. I do really like this call for them. That will ensure they have utility, they'll have the AWP, the AK still, and a full buy overall. It is a well-rounded decision here from the veterans on Imperial, but what this does do is it gives 9Z now match point. And from this point, we see more parallels to their matchup against 0-0 Nation. It was a 14-7 comeback for them there. Now, they just need one more round.
I want to highlight as well, they really didn't find success in that inside man, that vent drop. They, at one point, got someone down. They immediately got taken down by Fur. That time around, absolutely flawless. DGT finds the opening because of it all the way down towards Decon. Very well done. The up of NQZ there. Ooh, that almost hit. Almost caught Fur. They almost punished him. I like the reads 9Z are making here. But Fur, he's always been a menace in the outside yard. He always finds at least one for his troubles. Will this be the same? It doesn't seem likely, at least not for the moment. But there is a player stuck down towards Africa, and that might be his first casualty, his first victim. David is lurking around. 9Z. They do have a map point, and this is a best of one, so it would be the game. But Imperial had that solid buy due to that save, as we mentioned before.
They're light on utility, though, with over a minute to go. They have 2 nades, 2 flashes. That's it. That is nothing. Absolutely nothing in terms of utility. That is going to really hurt them if a full-on execute comes inside to the A site. The retake is also going to be very difficult. Now, 1 HE, 2 flashes. Buda's cleared out second and first events now. He'll flash into second to get more A-site control, but Bolts has struck. Buda, however, is showing he is tall, but Bolts and Chelo have come through to try and hold the line. Bolts falls from heaven. Fur up the vents, has shut down NQZ. OT2 looking likely, barring a max 1v3. He spots at the player back silo going for the jump spot. Fur is far removed towards B. But the op is in towards lobby, and Fallen is trying to punch his ticket and evict him from the hotel for now. Max knows there's one back silo. He's got to get more done. He takes down the first push through now, and in comes Fallen. Fur with the trade. It's a narrow margin that keeps Imperial in this map, in this match, and in the undefeated category here at the IEM Road to Rio Americas. We're going to OT2, Nate. But 9Z have shown now they have potency on the T side. There is more fear now for Imperial to work against. And yes, they are veterans. They have been around the block more times than one. But 9Z, the young guns, are showing that they have the poise up against legends in their scene, in their region.
And that round required a little bit of luck as well, right? Fur up the ladder, had to stay under the ladder and get a lucky headshot. It required luck. That was not a surefire round for them. So 9Z still have some skin in this game, a lot of skin in this game, I would dare say. And they're again on the T side. They're going to continue this trend. That's how it goes, back and forth, starting on the CT in overtime number 1, starting on the T in overtime number 2, and it'll go back and forth until we have a victor. For now, it's a clean slate, 18-18. The magic number, for those of you wondering, is 22. If you get 22, it's over. 21-21 will spell another bout of overtime. As you can tell, everybody's pensive. Everybody's scared. No one wants to give away the opening advantage in a round such as this when the stakes are so high.
So much control towards ramp, so much room for 9Z to operate, but they have to finish it off. You can get the tap-in opportunity, but you got to put it between the sticks, man. You got to get the goal. You can set yourself up for it, but if you don't score, it doesn't matter. For only one. Buda was traded out as he also took down Chelo, but NQZ right there for the response. The B site open, but the rotations are there. DGT lurking outside, could catch off Fallen. Vidi and Bolts are stuck in secret, and now Fallen, very wounded, almost taken out. The spray through the wall. It's DGT to bring it to a 4-on-2. Imperial still have a mind to go for this, but through the smoke, Vidi is felled, and Bolts, the last one standing, creeping through single door, will get one from decontamination and a second as well. 2 more to go, and he swapped to a fresh gun. Molotov's off single, but David pushes through, and he will save the day for 9Z. They win the critical 1 round on the T side. Nate, if they make it 2, they give themselves the red carpet to taking down Imperial.
If they take 2, we saw what happened when they sweeped the first 2 rounds on CT side. They completely wiped the economy of Imperial. They had Tech 9s on the T side for overtime. If they can get 2 rounds in a row on their own T side, the CT economy is even more of a burden, and it will leave them on an even more desperate situation. So if 9Z take this, they're well set up to take all 3. For only 1. That's the important factor. He's always found multi-kills up in the yard. He's been an ever-present threat. He's taken down immediately. That was a critical factor in the last round, and it's a critical factor in this one. Fallen, though, he's waking up again. He'll find 1. Although he took a bit of damage for 3 versus 4 secured for Imperial. They have the advantage. Now they need to just play their own game and get across the line to tie things back up.
The man advantage is huge for Imperial, though, to work with, although Fallen is down to about 40 HP. 9Z, though, don't really seem too daunted by this task. They've been here before. With every round that goes on, though, you have to imagine the confidence on 9Z is just getting better and better. They're the team that's coming in as the underdogs. They're the team that's coming through just like, all right, if we win, we win. If not, we're still 1-1. But of course they want to win. They play with a lot of passion, a lot of heart. That's what's keeping them through here. Fallen's stuck in Hut, too. I think Fallen's the only guy on site proper. Bolts might be in heaven to try and help him out. Okay, Vinny is here in Mini, I should say. But they've gone down the vents, and they're going to be. Chelo is on the ramp, and he smells a rat. He's going to rotate down. The door will open, and he does get the first. But now he's got the second on a Buda. This could set up Imperial for a tie ball game here. And indeed, it will not be Bolt or Chelo to get the third and final kill. But DGT can still do a little more economic damage to Imperial, who are rather poor when it comes to money right now. Fallen will dash out of vents and reposition, but DGT, if Fallen's not careful, can get the drop on him. He does have Vinny there to support, so that's why Fallen's so engaged with that angle. Vinny's right there holding the vent, so Fallen can hold the cross. Good little teamwork there from the Brazilian squad, and will get them 19. And only losing 2 will mean they can reinvest fully into this one, too. Utility might be a little scarce, though, a couple of players. But Chelo from the ramp room is the reason why Imperial even had a shot at that round. That was a brilliant read from 9Z.
I think they heard one of the players drop. He didn't catch the ladder at the end, and that's what really gave it away. Chelo, very purposeful in his rotation, very well done to shut it down. And if that third kill came through on the Fallen, we might have a different situation here in the final round of this first half of overtime number 2. That's a mouthful. But no, as it stands, it's going to be a full investment for Imperial, full investment for 9Z. And if 9Z can pull off 2, I do think that's enough to get them over the line.
Yeah, I think even with 1, 9Z still have a shot, given how strong their CT side was.
Oh, Fallen.
He spotted the util, but he doesn't get the kill. Chelo, though, was there to trade. That's a bomb. This could turn the whole round on its head, but David has traded it back. Vinny has fallen. But again, they have to recover the bomb. There's 2 players here. Chelo crossing through as well, but he is being watched for. He is tagged and now has been forced to retreat to vending machine trophy room. Fallen still on the angle, dodges the flash. But Fur has fallen in the meantime. They are hemorrhaging players now. Just the 2 players in trophy are left. And Nate, this could be the second on the board for 9Z. What a turnaround it would be. Buda hop for the bomb. He's grabbed it, and then QZ up top. He's got both. 9Z to 20. They have only 2 more rounds required on the stronger side of Nuke, where they did so well on both the second half and the first half of OT1. They have set themselves up for victory here. All they have to do is tap the ball into the net, and they have taken down Imperial from down 13-2. Job's not done, though. They have to win 2 more rounds.
It's hard to say it, but the straw that might have broken the camel's back in this one might have been the hop. It might have been the hop. And to say that this game came down to a hop, it really minimizes the overall impact of this game and how great it's been, but also it is quite the story, I must say. Very well done in that final round. Buda starts things off well. A nice double nade in towards the door. Unseats Vinny and starts things off right for 9Z. 5 versus 4. Imperial, they're grouping up towards the ramp to go for another ramp play, but 9Z's holds here have been perfect.
They've been almost flawless. They've lost 3 rounds so far on the CT side. Fallen is shut down by NQZ. He takes some damage, but it does not matter. It's a 5-on-3. And 9Z are creeping ever closer to taking down more giants here. Bolts does have control of ramp. Chelo and Fur in towards lobby. Bolts trying to creep in towards coat room. Could get caught off guard, though. There has been a rotation towards this vicinity coming through. It is Max, and he might get the timing. He does! 2 more to find. Buda up on top of Hut. He sprays
Yes!
down both. And Buda with the hops. Buda with the spray. 9Z with double match point here in double overtime.
The rock for this team has been Buda. I always love when I see him find success. Again, as we mentioned, it's hard not to root for him. He's the young gun moving up. He's been here for 3 weeks, and he's finding so much success. He is the team's rock here on top of the Hut. He's the first one to come alive. He's the one to rally around, and it's hard not to latch on to that storyline. Very well done for him on the double kill towards the squeaky door, and it is indeed the equivalent of 2 map points for 9Z now. Imperial had how many? Like 7 or 8 in regulation? And they now find themselves on the back
5 in regulation. It was 15-10. And
my word.
then 2 and 1 in overtime, and then, yeah.
They're putting all their eggs in one basket, though. It's a straight ramp rush. DGT did well to get away to take the distance fight, but he won't win the duel in the end. Bolts takes lots of damage, but wins the duel, and that's what's most important. David, though, down towards Decon, wants to be a thorn in the side of these T players. Buda smokes. He wants to go out the double doors, but that smoke makes him think better of it. Well thrown from Imperial. Time now beginning to tick away. Max out the ramp is probing around. This is a bit of a chaotic one. Players all over the place. Fur in the vents finds David. That's the first one that furthers the advantage. Now 5 versus 3. Buda in towards control. Can't find anything. And Imperial waking up in a big way in their individual duels. That's 3 kills going unanswered. That leaves NQZ 1v5. And he makes the call. He's going to save the op for the following. Economy isn't a huge concern, but there's no real chance in this round for him. He was just at the bottom of the vents in the 1v5 with an op of all weapons. Truly not going to happen. It is 21-20. Imperial need 1 more to send us to a 3rd bout of overtime. 9Z. They win this one, they can unseat another team with top-tier players.
They are looking to slay some more giants, Nate. But they need to win 1 more round. The last one was a wipe. Imperial dominated it. They won all their duels. They held the line. They played magnificently. They played like we know these legends can play. But 9Z, they still only need 1 more round. Max, outer yard, playing around. The red box has gone through so much utility. He might have slipped by. He's looking for an entry.
Though.
But look at Chelo. He's gone down the stairs. Max is still lurking around. Bolton for the bomb as well. In Max's grasp. Can he reach out and take it? He's gone the other direction. He spots 1. He spots 2. He spots 3. And he's got them all. He drops the bomb outer yard. It's down to Vinny. It's down to Fallen. 9Z 2 kills from taking down Imperial and moving to 2-0. The nade. It's done damage on the Fallen. He knows he's there. David helps out. Vinny in a 1-on-5. Stuck out in ramp. He cannot do much from this position. He's got an A1S. No utility. No teammates. And a fleeting dream. 9Z are so close to victory here. And this would be the scenes, Nate. 9Z back-to-back 14-7 comebacks against 0-0 Nation, and then Imperial to go into the 2-on-2 side of the bracket, or 2-0 side, excuse me, of the bracket here in the Swiss stage. Imperial, your hopes are on your youngest player, who was as old as the oldest player on 9Z, I would like to add. NQZ taken down. The shadow shows he knows the second guy's there. But David's there for the trade. And 9Z have finished off Imperial.
And look at the coach. We talked about it before. He had his head in his hands at, like, I think the halfway point, even before that, during the 3rd timeout. He was just sitting there trying to think of things for the squad. And now look at him. He's come alive along with the squad. Again, back-to-back 7-14 comebacks for 9Z. First against 0-0 Nation to cap it off 1916 on Overpass. And now 20...